Europe's highest court has ruled that Google must listen to people who are concerned about what comes up when others search their names. So this is something known as the right to be forgotten, and they were concerned about people who have past criminal records or past issues, past debts, for instance, that they don't want showing up when someone Googles their name. And this all kind of came about when there was a particular Spaniard that sued Google, or actually asked Google to take away some of the websites in the search results. And then Google was like, no, we're not going to do that because it's going to lead to censorship. So it went to Europe's highest court, and Europe actually ruled in favor of the Spaniard in this case. So let me give you more details on the ruling. It cannot be appealed because, again, it is Europe's highest court. The EU court said search engines must listen and sometimes comply when people ask for the removal of links to newspaper articles or other sites containing outdated or otherwise objectionable information about themselves. The court provided little guidance on exactly how to make such judgments. So that
I wonder why.
Yeah, the last part is really the most important part, right?
Yeah.
Because how do you do this? Like, how do you know whether or not you've crossed the line and are now promoting censorship, right? Like, let's say someone writes a blog about me. I'm gonna make it about me. Someone writes a really nasty blog about me, which I'm sure a lot of them exist.
It could happen someday.
I mean, it hasn't happened yet, but maybe someday in the future. Okay, something that I hate, right? First of all, I'm not going to go after Google or even that website and be like, take it down, because I don't give a shit, right? People are going to read it and let them go ahead and read it.
And any publicity is good publicity.
That's not true, but you know, whatever. You just have to have thicker skin. But so, like, what are they going to do? I'm going to go to Google and say, hey, this is objectionable. Can you please take it down? Well, they can't take it down, but can you please make sure it doesn't come up? Yeah, unlist it when people Google my name. I think that's wrong. I mean, that is a form of censorship. I don't want to violate the free speech of the person who's writing the nasty blog about me, even if I don't agree with it.
Yeah, no, I didn't think that you'd come out on that side of it. I definitely feel like I lean in the direction that you are. I know that generally we're supposed to come out and be like, God damn it, this is what you should think about this. But I don't know that I necessarily know, because it's one thing to say, okay, a blog that's written about you that's negative. But like, I don't know, they talk about prior information about arrests or something, and maybe, you know, an article in a newspaper about you being arrested that didn't really get the facts right could potentially stop you from getting jobs in the future or something like that. But you were arrested, and so that would be censorship to get rid of that. I think this is very complicated. I don't think that Google cares as much about free speech and censorship as they say they do. I think that they're being incredibly pragmatic, because it sounds like a bitch to like having millions of people sending requests to take these things down.
It's a very big inconvenience for them, so I think Google is more concerned about the inconvenience aspect of this than anything else. But again, how do you determine what is and is not acceptable to censor?
You have a death panel, basically.
It gets very, very complicated. And so as a result of that, I mean, you can't have this policy put in place unless you have clear guidelines, and those clear guidelines aren't there yet. And if those clear guidelines aren't there yet, I am concerned about people not being able to practice their free speech. Yes, they can write the blog, yes, they could put it online, but it will be censored by all search engines, not just Google, all of them.
Yeah, well, and I'll also say, like, there's some services where you can sort of appeal when you feel like you're being misrepresented. So right now on Twitter, I'm J Iadarola, and I'm J Iadarola because when I tried to get onto Twitter far too late, apparently, John Iadarola was already taken by some other person. Now John Iadarola is somebody pretending to be me, posting my videos from my personal channel and stuff like that. They're not me. I would like to have that, but I can't get it. I appealed to them months ago. They apparently don't care. I'm not verified or whatever. And so already through services that allow you to appeal, you can't get anything done. I don't think Google's going to be any more efficient. And furthermore, like, it's one thing to think about like the guy trying to get a job, and you can sort of understand where he's coming from. But the individuals are not going to be the only people who try to abuse this. Okay, what if Microsoft feels like there's a whole bunch of bad information in a website or an article about them? Maybe they'll try to get it taken down. Maybe Scientology will try to take down articles that are controversial or critical about them.
What if Google doesn't agree with controversial articles about them?
I think this is the thing, though, right? Like, so I get it, but there is a usefulness, and I don't think you guys are missing that. There's a usefulness for this because, what was it, SE Cup with the Hustler thing? What if that was online somewhere? I mean, it's one of those things where it's not real.
With the porn, you're saying?
Yeah, remember the whole thing with Hustler through the what does SE Cup look like with a dick in her mouth?
Yeah.
So stuff like that.
It wasn't in her mouth, it was near her face.
It's just close enough.
I mean, so the line becoming when someone's writing a blog where they're upset about you, versus when they're posting pictures and photoshopping and doing all the stuff that's demeaning you and is unreal and online, something needs to be there. And like I said, I think maybe the guidelines are what
Yeah.
could break that down correctly.
Maybe. But I feel like you could have a different law specific to that. And we already do in America. We have some states that are trying to outlaw revenge porn and stuff like that can get it delisted. I think that that's one thing. I think that this is opening the door to a bunch of problems. I mean, we're debating net neutrality and different ways that corporations are going to try to start to break down how open and free the internet is. And I think that the beneficiaries of this are not going to be people who don't like a website. I think it's going to be corporations. I think that they're going to be shutting down criticism of the products they do, like their services. I just think that's much more likely in the long run.
Well, yeah, and also keep in mind corporations have the resources necessary to intimidate
Exactly.
Google to the point where they'll just say, all right, fine, we'll unlist it or delist it.